Okay, so this subject is actually something I really like to talk about, and that is finding your purpose in doing things. Now, I've often on have done this. I need to do more of doing this. Like right now, I'm in this. As I said in a previous video, distractions have always gotten in my way. But I do believe that part of the reason that that happens is because you need to, well, part of that is not just a matter of finding your purpose, but I think it's a matter of being able to enjoy what you do. Now, I do believe that when you enjoy what you do, it's a lot more difficult for people to come in and distract you from doing that because you enjoy what you do. You know, a lot of the reason I stopped writing, and I know that to this day, that a lot of the reason I stopped writing is because I had a full-time job. And this was years ago at this point, but I had a full-time job that really kind of kept me distracted. It kept me distracted emotionally. It kept me distracted spiritually. It kept me just overwhelmed with confusion and just not knowing what I wanted to do. And so the purpose of me wanting to write, I mean, I say it's the same thing with going to college. I'll be honest, like I appreciate my master's degree, but I really, like, I think that if I were 18 and 19 again, I would not have gone to college. I think I would have I think I would have just pursued my love and my passion for writing. And I just would have given my all to that because it was the thing that really motivated me, being able to tell stories. And now this, of course, at that time, well, I mean, today it would be like YouTube channels and things like that. So I probably would like supplement with YouTube. But back at that time, you know, the internet was more in its infancy. So it wasn't like there was, you know, platforms like this that just, you know, but that's neither here nor there. The thing that I'm driving home is that when you do things that you enjoy, you find your purpose. I remember listening to a podcast, and this was probably a couple of years ago at this point, you know, where the host was saying that, you know, he cautions people about finding themselves by isolating themselves. You know, his point of contention was that you tend to find out who you are when you're around other people, when you're doing things. And I would agree with him. You know, at the end of 2019, I had a life group and I led that life group. And it was nice to get together with women who were in the place that I was in, where they were, you know, they had a purpose, they knew their purpose, but they felt isolated and lonely because they couldn't find other women that were in that same place as them. And so, you know, being able to come together and to talk and to say, hey, we all know our purpose. We all need to be able to pursue our purpose. It just like it gave not just hope, but it gave accountability and it gave life to be able to go in and say, okay, we're definitely going to do this thing and we're going to, you know, we're going to pray for each other and we're going to push each other and we're going to celebrate each other. And I think that that's where finding your purpose and doing things comes in. I found that I really love doing service work. And part of the reason I love service work is because I took the chance and I went on a short-term missions trip to help clean up after a horrible tornado event. And, you know, the joy that I had just in doing that. And I mean, I'm shoveling up just like essentially torn up houses and things. But I'll never forget just the joy that I had and how, I felt purposeful and how, wonderful it was just to do that, because I didn't have to be bogged down by the things that weren't important. And so finding your purpose in doing things, really, it kind of goes with the previous video of life being about a risk. Like when you're finding your purpose and you're pursuing your purpose, you are taking a risk. You're taking a risk because you're saying, I'm doing something that is beneficial for me. And it's not necessarily like you're not necessarily doing it because you're trying to be selfish, because inevitably, I think that a lot of times engaging in your purpose tends to have more to do with others. Like for this channel, I do these videos not just because it's beneficial to me, but because I know that it can be beneficial for others who might stumble upon this and listen to this and go, hey, I'm where she is. So, it's definitely that, like, you found your purpose when you are benefiting others and not just benefiting yourself. You may feel good, but you'll end up feeling good because you can see the joy on the faces of others. You can see, that light bulb moment. You can see where they feel filled, and that kind of, it's sort of like symbiotic in a way where you're given to them and they're kind of given to you in return. And so you're never going to find that if you're not doing something. As I said, I can definitely speak from experience, because the end of 2019 was the most miserable because I kept trying to figure out, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? And to a degree, I kind of isolated myself because I was trying to figure out, what should I do? And, once the year was ending, I had that moment where I just stood there and said, I can't do nothing. Like, I have to do something. And, in making that decision and saying I have to do something, now that's exactly what I'm doing. And, like quitting the jobs that I had before gave me that sense of peace, but doing more than just quitting the jobs, like, actually pursuing taking my channels seriously, pursuing taking my podcast, which is Life as I Know It Is. I guess I always forget that part, but it's Life as I Know It Is ... I guess. And like, essentially it is like doing things like this. Like, it can feel awkward because I'll admit that I am an introvert. And so sometimes doing things like this, I feel a little bit awkward because I don't know, like social settings are not exactly the best for me. But, I can't live my life doing nothing. And that, that is an important thing. I know that I cannot live my life doing nothing. No one can live their life doing nothing. I think we can try, but the misery that comes with doing nothing and not taking chances, I feel like it should drive people to try to do something. And hopefully it does, that it just, if you're stuck, if you're in a place where you feel like you don't know what to do and you feel like you're so confused and you feel like your life has no meaning or anything like that, I would challenge you to pick one thing that you really enjoy doing. And I would say, take that chance and do it. I decided that I was going to do a daily blog. And, I didn't know how that would work out. I didn't know if anybody would read it. I still don't know. And, right now I'm having trouble even getting on it. But, it was not necessarily the doing the blog thing that was so important. It was the matter of what was one thing that I can do on a consistent basis that's going to force me to then do everything else that I needed to do and that I was supposed to do. And, that's where, I am today. And I still say, yes, it's the beginning of 2020, essentially. The month of January is not over. But, for me, this isn't a New Year's resolution, because I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, because people inevitably fall off the wagon after the New Year's. But this is definitely more of a commitment to myself to say, I'm going to take those chances that I hadn't before, and I'm not going to let the distractions of the past come back in. And yes, they will still, come back in. Like, the month is just like, the year has just begun, and I'm still dealing with the occasional distraction that wants to come in and says, well, you should do what everyone else says you're supposed to do. And, you fight that by working in your purpose, by, fighting through kind of thing, and doing the things, and, taking and accepting the peace that comes with knowing that you are doing something that makes you feel fulfilled. And so I guess that's, I feel like I'm being a motivational speaker right now, and I'm not necessarily trying to be a motivational speaker, but to a degree, like with things like this, it kind of comes a little bit more natural, because it is kind of a little bit like a rah. But that'll end, that'll end this for today. Just to recap, you need to find your purpose. And the best way to find your purpose in life is to be doing things, and not just doing anything, but doing purposeful things. That means, maybe sitting down and doing an actual plan. And I can talk about that on another video, because it's, been extremely beneficial for me to do that. So anyway, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do the bell for notifications, and share this and all of that. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.